am super, super excited to bring this class to you today. If you're watching the replay, you might want to skip ahead a minute or two. I'm going to let some people jump on before I get started. The replay, you might want to skip ahead. And now I know it's working. Cool. Great. All right. So I hope you have a cup of tea or a glass of water or both. I made some Tulsi tea because this is it's good tea for meditating. It brings down the cortisol and stress hormones. It's actually part of my hormone balancing routine that I do every day. I really do love my Tulsi tea, so highly recommend it. And I like it in the morning to kind of start my day off with a nice mellow vibe, which I know sounds completely the opposite of what we normally do. We normally start with coffee, right, to like jack ourselves up for the day. But I found that actually starting my day with a cup of Tulsi tea right after I meditate is a nice beginning. And I do feel much more focused that way. So free tip right there for you that I had no intention of going into, but here we are. So that's all right. Welcome so much for coming. I'm super excited to have you here. I'm super excited to teach this with you. And this is going to be a really fun, I think this is going to be a really fun class. This is something I'm really passionate about, and much like yesterday's class, it's something that I didn't necessarily realize how many people would be interested in until I actually started talking about it and just allowed myself to be me in public more, and found out that actually there's a lot of people that are excited and interested in it. So awesome. I invite you to use the comments, and I will pop in on my iPad from time to time to check in and see if you guys have any questions or comments. So please feel free to say hi, introduce yourself, ask questions, whatever. You're absolutely welcome to do that. And of course, the Red Circle Lady Business Facebook group, which I will attempt to keep an eye on better today than I did yesterday. But that being said, you can always use the group as well to chat. So let me know. So I wanted to start off today with a meditation for everybody. If you're sitting in a chair, just try and get your feet flat on the floor. Ideally, a chair meditation, your body is a series of 90-degree angles. So your ankles, your knees, your hips are all at a 90 degrees. That can be hard to do if you don't have an adjustable chair. So as close as you can get. If you can, sit on the floor, pop yourself into a cross-legged or a lotus position. Take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. You're going to put your right hand over your lower womb space and then your left hand on top of your right hand. So ideally, that right hand is resting right below your belly button. You can even do this underneath your belly button, and that gives you a good idea of where your womb space is, and you can just sort of fold in. You want to breathe into the base of your body, so right into the pelvic cradle, imagining your womb space and allowing the bottom of it to hold your womb. So you've really got this big, beautiful ball between your belly button and your pelvic cradle, and that is your lower dantian, which we'll talk more about later. But keeping those hands over that womb space, over this lower dantian. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Taking some nice deep breaths in through the nose. Let the tongue rest between your teeth and your gums in your mouth. And when you exhale, you can just exhale. You can exhale out through your mouth or through your nose. For this meditation, it's perfectly fine to do either. Continue that breathing. And as you continue to take those deep breaths in, I'd like you to start envisioning clear, clean, chi, this energy. Whatever this light looks like to you. And each time you inhale, breathe that chi down into the very bottom of your dantian. Fill up your whole body with air, with chi, as if your beautiful body was a vase that you were filling for flowers. As you exhale, any negative chi, any stagnant chi, any bad juju is going to come out through the top of your head. From the very tip of your skull, there's a point, your zenith. Anything bad is going to just come out through there. You could be a dolphin dancing in the waves, just getting rid of any stagnant chi. Continue those deep breaths, inhaling all the way. Exhaling all the way. Continuing those breaths. I want you to now envision this glowing light, this lower dantian, and envision all of the other women in the world. All these women who have these beautiful womb spaces, this lower dantian. Everybody has a lower dantian, man, woman, child, everybody. But right now, I just want you to focus on your sisters. And I want you to spread love into your womb, into your lower dantian. Allow that clean, clear, healing chi to be a force of love. And as you fill your own womb space, your own lower dantian up with that love, envision filling every other woman with that same love. Loving the tidal connection that brings you and the moon and the sisters that you have together. Regardless of time or space, life, death, history, none of it matters. Everything is connected. And all this love goes between each woman and every sister. Continue this love. And now root yourself into the ground. This love is going deep into the earth, through you into the heavens. There's a pole that goes straight through your body, from heaven to earth. This love comes channeling in through the heavens, as if your skull and your hair and your arms and hands and shoulders were the leaves of the tree. And you are absorbing that sunlight, that starlight, that moonlight, that cloud, that mist, that mystery. And that's coming deep into your womb, into your lower dantian. And your feet, your sits bones, your legs are deeply rooting into the earth, going deep past any concrete or wood or carpet or anything. You could be on the tallest skyscraper in the whole world and you could still feel your toes in the moist, cool, damp earth. Expand your awareness. See all of those wombs filled with love and realize that this is an infinite source. You can always close your eyes and come back here and fill yourself with love. You can always come back here and see the love of your sisters. You can always come back here and give love. Take 3 more deep breaths, and as you take each breath, envision your lower dantian, this big, beautiful circle of energy, gathering Allow your consciousness to come back into that lower dantian. And with your last breath, realize this is your energy and your battery. And you will have this for all of time. You simply need to come back here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can take a few more breaths if you'd like. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on that fun trip. All right, let's dive in, yeah? I hope that you felt a sense of peace, and I hope you felt a sense of something bigger, because that's what we're going to focus on today. The Tao, the Qi, the energy. We're going to talk today about the energy behind your period power. We're going to talk about the energy behind the yin and the yang. And we're going to talk about more than even just our physical connection, but our energetic connection. Before there was a taboo around menstruation, we women knew that we were an open connection to the divine. We were a lightning rod of inspiration, of guidance, of intuition. We trusted ourselves, we trusted our bodies, we trusted our knowledge. We knew that during our cycle, during our bleed, that portal was wide open. We took that time to connect deeply. If you followed me or have heard anything else I've spoken about, you know I've spoken about the red tent and how women came together in order to, no matter where they were and what they called it, be it moon lodge or red tent or whatever, women have always come together during their bleeding to commune, to take care of each other, to open that portal, and to be able to spend that time when they are their most vulnerable, energetically, psychically, physically, to draw strength from their sisters, to spend time connecting and supporting and loving. And then it wasn't until the burning times that we really separated as women, and that competition became part of our genetic code. But it's not the root. It's a layer on our genetics, and it is not our DNA. In our DNA, women are conditioned and have evolved to befriend and tend. There's the stress reaction for men, which is the fight or flight. That study was done on men, not women. Subsequently, a study has been done on women in their stress response, and women don't go into fight or flight. We actually go into tend and befriend. We take care of the kids, we make sure that everyone's okay, and we come together as a group to fix the problem, to heal, to take care of the injured, to take care of the sick, to defend against the invading tribe, horde, other people, other village, whatever it was. We women realized our strength was in numbers by locking arms, back to back, defending. We knew that. We've always known that. And that's where we really feel our power, is when we are in our centered strength, in our sisterhood, seeing that love. That's when we're the strongest. Always, at all times, that's when we're the strongest. We've been so cut off from our own bodies that we can't feel that connection. And now all we can do is acknowledge the PMS, the mood swings, the pain, the headaches, the shame, the embarrassment, the fighting that we have to do for equality, for recognition, for understanding, for empathy, to not be ashamed or embarrassed, to be taken seriously, to have respect. That's not how it's supposed to be. And it's not how it should be. And it's not how it's meant to be. And it's not how it will be. Because you're here, and I'm here. And as we're going to see a little bit later, the Tao births one, one becomes two, two births three, and three births everything else. So in each phase of our cycle, we have these amazing connective superpowers. In YBYF, I actually teach a meditation for each phase of the cycle. And these meditations are meant to do things like be pain meditations and help ease pain, access your divine intuition, move the chi, increase the flow of the meridians and the channels that you have in your body that we once thought was woo-woo and now has been proven by actual science that they exist. So it's amazing to see how these things that have been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years are now finally being backed up because our science has gotten small enough that we can see these things now, but we couldn't see those things back in the day. So this is how we connect as women. And it's hard to meditate. And I find that moving meditations are really, for me, the easiest way to access. Guided meditations are a boost. But Taoist meditations are all guided meditations. Now, the more advanced you get, the more you have breathing patterns that you have to do. And they're not easy. They're exhaling certain percentages and sitting with it and opening, and they're moving certain meridian channels, and they're doing things like envisioning the chi coming up and sprinkling down onto each individual organ. And these are meditations that take a long time because you spend time learning them and practicing them, and they get longer because you get better, but they get longer because you get better at it. You sit in it and you spend so much time thinking about how to do it that one day you're not thinking about how to do it anymore, you're actually doing it. That's what I like about Taoist meditation. That's what I like about not just sitting still and scanning your body and seeing what's wrong with it, because that's just perpetuating what's wrong with it. That's not fixing what's wrong with it. And then the Taoist meditations are about fixing it, making it better, stronger, more whole, clearing out the bad juju, and infusing your body with the good. So I want to inspire you now to live a life where you're pulled into your heart, into your womb space, that you're pulled into even your business because it's coming from this space, your womb and your heart space, instead of pushing, which all of that happens is you burn out. So I would like to inspire you from every walk of life, whether you're running a business or not, but to see that the work that you do should be coming from this heart and womb space. And honestly, I say womb space because it's deeper than the heart. It's bigger, it's stronger, it can handle more. It's not a delicate flower, though it is as beautiful as a flower. But I love that idea of this deep, deep womb space. And your lower dantian, your battery, your charging power is literally surrounding your womb. I mean, I couldn't make it up and make it better. So how did I get into this? Because that's a really good question. It's not something that a lot of people are into. I actually found Tai Chi as a dance major at university, and my Russian ballet master taught us Tai Chi on sunny days. It was Pittsburgh, there weren't a lot. So every now and then we'd get a trip out and we would be doing Tai Chi in the sun, in the park, and it was beautiful. And you have to imagine a legit Russian ballet master here. I need you to imagine a big, ginormous Russian man with 2 titanium hips and 2 titanium knees from all of the years of ballet and the toll that it took on him, walking around you, yelling things in Chinese in a Russian accent. Oh, ladies. I mean, it was just this deep, deep, deep Russian accent, and he'd be yelling, and it was just, I don't know. It was kind of hilarious, to be perfectly honest. But if you could take the fun really with it and enjoy it, it was some of my favorite classes. And it was the first time I had done a meditation that I was like, oh my God, this is actually useful, because sitting silently and trying to think of nothing was absolutely useless. And I don't know about you, but I don't know many women that don't have a perpetual list in their minds, whether it's the shopping list, the business to-do list, the kid list, the household list, there's always a list. There's always a list. So the thing that I really loved about this was it was the first time that I really didn't have a list in my head because I was too busy thinking about the movements. I was too busy working out the chi, right? Like, how do I move? How do I do this? How do I do that? Where am I supposed to go next? Where does my foot turn? Where does my hand go? And it was great because it was a completely different way of moving from any kind of dance I'd ever known. And I always loved a good challenge, so that was fun. But it was a moving meditation and you didn't have time to think about your grocery list. And that was my favorite part about it. Yes, even in college, I had grocery lists. Just go with that. I was always a cooker. Not that my mom doesn't love to tell the story of me calling her from the kitchen, asking her what chicken you buy to make chicken soup, because they were labeled fryer chickens and broiler chickens. And I was like, where's the soup chicken? True story. Okay. So, I loved the moving meditation. I mean, keep in mind, this is the 90s. There's not a lot of anything out there really in this whole genre. But I did learn from him the basics of Tai Chi, which turned out to be the public form. The public form is really actually easily characterized because if you see it, you see people moving out, and you see a lot of this. Like, you see people moving and they're moving out and forward and they're moving into this forward space. That you can tell is the public form, because if you learn any fighting, the first thing you learn is not to move your weight onto your forward leg. Otherwise, you lose immediately. So you know it's the public form because it's moving from into that forward space. But that's all right. That's a whole nother conversation. And I'll be teaching more in depth about this anyway down the road. So I did learn a lot about yin and yang. And this is important. This is important. Yin and yang does not mean dark and light. It actually means the light side of the mountain or the shady side of the mountain. You are the mountain. You are not the light or the dark. You are the mountain. And both the light and the dark are reflecting off of you or in you or on you or whatever. There's always light. There's always dark. You are the mountain, not one or the other. So as the Tao says, create and then sit back. You're the mountain. You cannot control the sun, the clouds, the night, the moon. You have to root and be while the chaos goes around you. Now, if you're a fempreneur, you know what that feels like, but you probably are trying to react to the chaos more than you should be. And I know this because I see in Facebook groups all the time women talking about, someone stole my idea and they're marketing it as their own. What do I do? Or, somebody's talking about how much I'm charging and I can't charge less, but I need to, I need to eat. Like, what do I do? You see people reacting all of the time to other people's projection onto them. You don't see people sitting still in their power very often. And that's what I want to teach. That's what I want you to walk away from during this video, is this idea that you can stand firmly on solid ground to root, to teach, and to be infinite. Okay, so the Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. Yeah. The vast majority of ideas of God come from the Tao. The one births two. Two gives birth to three. Three gives birth to all things. You see the triple gods in most forms of worship. You see the maiden, the mother, the crone. You see the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. You see the triples in a lot of these things. So the Tao really, there it is. It's that came before all. It's the energy, and it's infinite. So when you are running your business, When you start to panic, when you start to go into overload, when you start to freak out, this is infinite and it will always be here. And you can push, but there's nothing you can do about the light and the dark because you're the mountain, not the sun and the moon, right? So you can root. And in your business, your flow, I teach about bleeding into the earth and how this historic time was really opening that channel and rooting into your vision and your life and your purpose, and how to do that. Because I know a lot of us feel like we're not even sure what we're here to do. And that's really where you need to start. And that's all part of this sitting back, creating and releasing, create and release, create and release. And there's one other thing that I really like out of, we join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. You can create it, you can market it, you can advertise it, but they have to come. And you have to have a little bit of faith for that portion. And you have to continue doing it. And just like money, it's energy. It comes and it goes like the tides, like the waves. And as it comes, you have to see that it's going to go. And as it goes, you have to have faith that it's going to come again. And that's the thing, is that you can always be sure that it is going to come again, because it is going to come again. There's no denying it. And my Tai Chi Sifu teacher likes to, whenever I'm having especially a nice crisis in my life, he loves to remind me that the universe isn't out to get me. It's not concerned with me as an individual. He's not out to get me. It's also not necessarily out there to do it for me either. I have to do the creating, but it is there to be used. But it is not out to get me, nor is it out to support me. Which, you know, good and bad, I suppose. But when you let go and when you just allow yourself to be part of it, you can find so much more stable, calm, center of the storm mentality. That's kind of one of the beautiful things about it. And that's one of the beautiful things about what I'm going to be teaching in November and December with the Transcendence group, how to root ourselves so that we can build our game plan for 2017, and we can do it from this very stable base position. I cannot tell you how much more gets done when you're in this space. It's just astounding. I've been taking Tai Chi now for several years from one specific teacher. He teaches the hidden form, which is actually the fighting forms. And I know for a fact that if I wasn't taking Tai Chi and I wasn't going as often as I am, that I would not be as far along as I am in my life, in my business, in anything. And I know that for sure. I have glimpses sometimes of where I would be if I did not have this to fall back on in my times of need. And it is ugly, I can tell you. So we women follow the earth cycle. We have a little year every month. And I talked about that a little bit before. And I've talked about that a lot, actually, and everything I do. And that's a year of opportunity in every month. So when you're in this practice, you see a year's worth of opportunities every single month that you can choose and pick. And you can choose and pick based on what would best support you at the time, what's best in supporting not only you, but your business, or what you need, or if you don't need to support your business that month because you need to support a family member for that month, whatever it is. But you have this whole year of opportunity every single month. So your perception of time starts to change, which is desperately necessary, because in a world full of men teaching us to do everything to an egg timer, nothing gets done and time feels very cramped and small. Our menstrual cycle is like training wheels. When we're no longer menstruating, we're wise women, or the training wheels are off. So if you are still menstruating, be very, very happy that you're figuring this out now, because you still have your training wheels. And if you're a wise woman, thank you so much for going before and carving out the path. And we would love to hear from you and hear your wisdom. But you still have a year every month. And with each new moon, you begin again. And with each full moon, you begin again. So you have these amazing opportunities every time, every month, to every moon cycle, every menstrual cycle, to begin again and to let go of the things that are no longer serving you, because the Tao is infinite and there will be more. There will always be more. So the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, I teach according to the Chinese philosophy of the 5 seasons and the 5 elements. I do this because in Western medicine, we consider the luteal phase one phase, except that there are 2 distinct hormonal changes in it. And in a lot of Chinese teaching, the late summer and fall seasons are often smushed together. They're very often characterized by similar aspects. Even in the food, the late summer food are exactly what you would think, you know, squashes and root veggies and the harvest, those kinds of things. And then the fall foods are often spices, things like cinnamon and nutmeg and warming herbal spices. And it's almost as if they knew that this part of being a woman is when you need to be eating these sweet, warming, earthy foods, but that you also need to add these really immune system boosting herbs into your food. So rather than move you into different foods, they keep you in that same foods, but they move you into adding more to it, more spice, more depth, more immune boosting spice and depth. So I love that that wisdom is there innately without being able to do hormonal testing back in the day. And this is why I teach from this perspective, because it is old and it freaking works. And you can see how it works, and you can see how other traditions do it as well. The Taoist philosophy has the dantians, right? We have the lower dantian that we just accessed. We have the middle dantian, and we have the upper dantian. Well, these just encompass the chakras, right? Your lower dantian encompasses your lower 3 chakras, your middle dantian, right? Your heart, your solar plexus, your throat, your upper dantian, your third eye, your crown chakra. The dantians actually have, there's one that hovers above and one that hovers below. They're your gateways to the spirit and to the earth. We won't get into that today, but these 5 elements, these 3 dantians, these are all sacred numbers, and they all go perfectly in alignment with our female cycles. So I think it's beautiful. In YBYF, the girls start to talk about luteal phase part 1 and part 2. And it's amazing to see how they get so in tune to their cycles and to their own flow and their energy shifts, so that they can feel when I do too, when we get from the first phase of our luteal and into the second part of our luteal phase, and we start referring to it as luteal 2, and it's delightful, and I love seeing these things happen. I know it's working. They're feeling it. They're getting into it. They're feeling that body, and they're present. I teach a different meditation for each phase in YBYF so you can access them. But I want to spend November and December in the Transcendence group, which is going to be free if you join YBYF. I want to teach much more meditation. And I love it. This is why I love it, because these all make sense to me, right? In Taoist tradition, you cannot wear metal when you're meditating, because metal is where the energy goes into metal. So if you have a buildup of energy, you can release it into metal. So if you're healing somebody else and you're pulling out sick, stagnant chi from your person, you immediately end and you place your hands on metal, whatever, metal. You place your hands on metal, and that discharges the stagnant chi so that you can stay a clean, clear vessel. And if metal is this important, why is it not part of the 5 elements, right? We all know the 4, we all know wind, earth, water, fire, but metal. And it's a very important element, which is why I really identify with this cycle of these elements and these seasons and the food, even the supportive foods in them. There's a few other guidelines that go along with Taoist meditation. Another living animal, person, being, whatever, can't touch you. Again, when you are cultivating your chi, to have somebody else's chi mingle into yours can disrupt the whole process. You have to start all over again. And some of these meditations get to be long, and that sucks because then you have to start all over. But all of these things are easy. And in the Transcendence group, we'll talk about how to set up a sacred space for yourself to meditate. So if you ever have wanted to set up yourself a sacred meditation space, this will be a really super good excuse to do it. And I have used kitchen counters. So when I say you can set up your sacred space anywhere, I literally mean anywhere, and we will figure out what works for you. All right, so even the fighting forms of Tai Chi uses this very language. You're a pillar, you twist around your pillar, you rotate, you bend, you can do all of these things with your pillar, but you don't ever break. And this is not just when you're fighting and actually pushing with another person or fighting with another person or sword. I mean, it doesn't matter. Any of these extensions of the fight are the exact same metaphor for your life. You must be able to bend without breaking. You must be able to rotate, to be flexible, to open back, to let the chaos go past you and then come back for a strike. You have to be able to allow the bad juju, that person who's out there stealing your work, or that person complaining about how expensive it is, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on something. You have to be able to let that go by you so you can come back and strike into the next round. So you can come back ready because you've taken that energy, you've let it go by you. You may even have let it help springboard you even further forward, but you always continue. You don't break. And that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of practicing the fighting form. The beauty of pushing with another person is you can actually feel another person's energy pushing you, and how you can actually use it to strengthen, to root deeper, to ground more firmly, and then come back with more power than you even had to begin with. But it's all from the central pillar, this pillar that connects you from the heavens into the deeper earth. And keep in mind, Tai Chi was made for the smaller opponent. It was made for the farmers to be able to defend against the emperor's guards, for the invading Mongol hordes, for rival tribes. It was made for the peasants, for the people who just wanted to farm and stay and keep their land and support themselves. Now that's you as a woman. You're the smaller opponent because, let's face it, most of the time we're battling against men. We are protecting ourselves from sexual aggression, from verbal aggression, from work aggression. We're protecting ourselves all the time. So having this energetic shield as well as this physical confidence makes a huge difference. And I absolutely have used this on the streets more than once to protect myself. And even just energetically, I've used this more than once to protect myself, just walking down the streets and deflecting people away from me. Just not even touching them. Just no. And often they just part like the Red Sea before Moses and let me through. It is uncomfortable to practice. You have to get in there. The key to winning a fight in Tai Chi is to allow your opponent into your space because that is where you're strongest, into your nest, into your comfort zone, because that's where you have the most power. You as a woman have a lower center of gravity. So if you're going to defend yourself against somebody with a higher center of gravity, a man, you have to get them in so they can go over your center of gravity. So you can just simply flip them upside down and walk away. But you can't do that if you don't allow them to get close enough. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. You have to get into their space. You have to allow them into your space. And this is true of your own body. You have to get into your womb space. You have to go through the process, and it is uncomfortable, which is why there are people like me who are more than happy to guide you through it, because you have to get in there. You have to be able to dive into your own womb, your own rhythm, your own cycle. You have to get comfortable in there. It's that space between the trapeze bars, right? I think all entrepreneurs have heard the phrase, it's the space when you let go of the trapeze you're comfortable on to that space in between while you're reaching for the next trapeze. Tai Chi is always the space in between the trapeze. You get comfortable in the center, in the eye of the storm. You get comfortable with the unknown. That is the beauty of Tai Chi, of the Taoist meditations. In November and December, I'm going to teach the 5 animals. These are 5 moving meditations that opens up the major meridians in your body, your energy channels. And these movements are to clear out those spaces, but they're also to open up the major joints of your body, your shoulders, your hips, your spine, all of these things. And this is for you in order to open up your energetic channels as well as open up those spaces. And I like this because in yoga, we talk often about how hip openers are your emotional release, right? Like going into pigeon, when I used to teach yoga, I used to have everyone sit in pigeon for a long time. And I kind of only let people out of pigeon when somebody cracked, when somebody started to cry, or when somebody started to laugh just out of the clear blue sky, because it was this release of energy, of emotion that had been trapped in the hips. And the 5 animals is actually releasing all of your major joints so that you can move, so you can be free. And it's amazing how much more limber you feel, right? After a good yoga class, you feel like you're so much more loose, but you're so much more stable at the same time. It's that very same feeling, except it has this deeper meditation level to it, this amazing, beautiful meridian channel opening to it and clearing. I'm doing this within the context of setting up your 2017. The idea of being able to go into 2017 and own it. It is your year. It is going to be a plan. We're going to put together a plan. 2017, what can you accomplish in a year? Plan. I did this last year for myself and for a few clients and some of the girls that I was kind of testing YBYF on, and we did this plan, and I gotta tell you, I did so much this year, and this year I have done the least amount of work, but I've done the most amount of work. I know. This was the year that I launched Your Business, Your Flow. Not once, but 3 times. It went from being $197 to $600. I went from teaching it in 1 month to 3. I launched a charting mandala that took months and months and months to put together, and several artists to fail at it before I found Chantal, who stepped up to the plate like a true lady boss and helped and created. I started the Red Circle Lady business, and we're at 1,060 odd women in there now. I took guest recordings and I recorded bonuses for YBYF to the point that now I think we're up to like 10 bonuses for it. And I'm just going to keep giving them and adding on to it. In fact, this time, Trudy is going to be teaching us how to manipulate our neural pathways during November and December while we're actually planning out our 2017 so we can actually form our brains for success. We're going to do this 90-day plan so that when we go into the first 90 days of 2017, we have a very specific layout of what we're going to get done. Because I got more done in 90 days by doing this than I have in the years I had before. I mean, I've been in business before. I had a restaurant. I was a health coach for athletes. I was a health coach for women before I started doing this actual very specific, beautiful period coaching practice. But I got nothing really done. I was doing the same thing all the time, over and over and again, but nothing was really working. And I was working so much, but I was not working in my flow, and I was not working from the calm center of the storm. I was allowing all of the chaos around me to be in control all of the time, instead of just focusing on me, my own needs, and allowing everything else to just go around me and not be constantly, right? The chi is internal and forever. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control, right? You need to make a plan, but you need to be able to root into the ground and work with what you have. I made a plan to release the charting mandala a year, at the beginning of the year, and it took me until I found Chantal to actually release it because I actually needed an artist to help with this. I couldn't control that. I couldn't possibly expect that 5 people were going to tell me it couldn't be done before I finally asked the right person. But I didn't stop. I did not give up. And now I have this amazing mandala that I have given out to everyone I know, and hopefully you have it already. And if you don't, it was in the email yesterday. And if you still don't, it's in the Facebook group. And if you still don't, message me and I will give it to you straight up. But these things would never have happened. I wouldn't have been on over a dozen podcasts. I wouldn't have been a guest teacher for well.org. I wouldn't have influenced the way well.org runs its business for its women. I wouldn't have had amazing business coaches take my program. I mean, women making $30K a month taking my business program because they know they can do better. They know they can level up. I wouldn't have been in as many programs because I knocked it out. I wouldn't be an assistant coach for $1 million a year coach. I wouldn't be in this position that I'm in if it were not for this practice. And this is where I can say, not only from experience of my own personal experience, but from the experience of the people around me, if you want to level up, this is an unavoidable part of it. And you have to let go of some crap to make space for this. So it's not for everybody. It's not, because some people are just not ready to let go of the comfort, that trapeze, if you'll forgive me to continue that pun or that story. But some people aren't ready to give up, mornings of freaking out. Okay. Here's what morning used to look like. Waking up, going to Facebook, making coffee. Frantically freaking out, trying to push a business. And some people aren't ready to give up waking up and checking Facebook first thing in the morning. Some people are not ready to give up that morning cup of coffee to jack themselves up before they start. But if you're ready to level up, if you want 2017 to be your year, the year that you're the guest on, I don't know, I didn't even count, but I've done at least 20 interviews this year. If you're ready, and I just got asked to teach a women's group for teenagers. Okay, 2. So, if you're ready for this year to be the year that you start guest interviewing on podcasts, starting your own podcasts, if you're ready for this year to be the year you get visible, for the year that you launch that group program, that book, that guide, that freebie, your business, just in general, if you're ready for that year to come, you have got to make space. You have to make space. Because we're going to be doing this in November and December, we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to get through the holidays like champs because we're going to have each other, right? So our holidays aren't going to look like one long hangover that leads to January being one long hangover, which means February is actually when you start to get started. If you're going to join this and you're going to do YBYF with me, and we're going to start in January, but you're going to sign up right now for the pre-sale, and you're going to do this transcendence group with me, you are ready to be better. You're ready to be bolder and braver and bigger. You should be scared. If you are, that's a really good sign. It's scary to let go of the trapeze. So this is a really good sign. You should be nervous. Nothing good comes from comfort. I am a huge fan of comfort, and I teach all of my women to find their comfort, their nest, their sacred space, and to go in and feather it every single month, okay? But you cannot progress and grow from a space of comfort all of the time. And if you think that I'm kidding about being a warrior, about teaching you Tai Chi, about teaching you how to move, to meditate, to unblock the channels, how to be a warrior, I want you to know that those pictures of me out there with a sword, those are actually moves from Tai Chi. Those are actual sword form movements. And I want you to know I will be there fighting next to you, beside you, in front of you, arms elbow to elbow, locked together, back to back. And if you think that I am a warrior, just imagine what it would be like to have me on your side. Okay? Let's go into 2017 and rock it out. All right, so I want to teach you guys one more meditation. Can't leave you guys with just a fun, delightful guided meditation at the beginning. I want to teach you one more meditation that you can do aside from that one. I want to teach you guys, I'm going to check the comments here and see if there's any questions before I close us out with this meditation. Oh, and I should let you know that with the YBYF pre-sale, I am giving away to somebody in this Transcendence group who joins YBYF in the next couple of days, my actual planner that I use. It's a PDF version of my actual planner, which walks you through so much. You're gonna freaking love it. And for the first 5 women who join, I'm gonna do an extra one-on-one call with them. So just throwing that out there while I check to make sure that there are no more questions before we close out with this meditation. Okay, it looks like we're good. Cool, all right, great. So let's close out with this meditation. So one more time, wherever you are, feet on the floor if you're in a chair, those 90-degree angles if you want. Sit bones firmly rooted, long lower back, right hand on your womb, left hand on top. Nice deep breath in, close your eyes and bring that inhale all the way down into your lower dantian. All right, continue those deep breaths. Now what you're going to do is you're going to inhale through your third eye. You're going to bring that chi down the front of your body, and you're going to feel it cycle through your lower dantian, and then it's going to come up your spine and out the tip of your head, your zenith point on the very top. So you're going to inhale through the third eye, bring that chi down the front of your body into your lower dantian and up through the spine and out through the crown. Take 2 more deep breaths in. Just feel what it feels like. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now reverse it. Bring your inhale through your third eye and down your spine. Bring it up the front of your body and out through your zenith. Inhaling the chi in through the third eye, down the spine. Cycle through the lower dantian and up the front of the body and out through the zenith. Let's take 3 more deep breaths, feeling what that feels like. Last breath. Now, before you open your eyes, bring your attention and your breath back into the lower dantian. Inhale that chi into your lower dantian, letting it gather, letting it charge your battery. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and release. This is a meditation that I teach. It can be used for pain management, especially if you have cramps, bloating, abdominal pain, any kind of menstrual pain, even emotional pain. You'll find that by doing this cycle one way, you'll feel worse. And by doing this cycle the other way, you'll feel better. Do 3 cycles in each direction before you make your decision if you're using it in pain. If you do that cycle and you're in pain and you take 1 inhale and say you go down the front and it feels immediately worse for you, immediately stop. Reverse your flow and go the opposite direction. Otherwise, take 3 breaths to assess the situation and see how you feel before making a decision. This is something that I do teach in YBYF. In that class, I actually have a recorded guided meditation of it. I hope that you'll use it and that you'll find help in it and comfort in it. I hope that you will do the meditation that we started at the beginning and feel that love and that connection, because that's really at the end of the day what it's about. That's why this is a transcendence group and not Transcendence 101. We will have one-on-one calls. You get 1 free with YBYF. And if you're one of the first 5 women to join, you're going to get 2. So we will have a one-on-one call in which we'll talk through all of this and go as in-depth and as personal as you need. But at the end of the day, it's having community and group that makes the biggest substantial support for you to level up, to let go of the junk holding you down, because you know that you have the arms of your sisters to hold you up. Whenever you're in doubt, or if you feel alone, or you feel isolated, or you feel like you don't know what choice to make, you can do that very first meditation we learned at the beginning and connect to your sisters worldwide. And remember, energy does not end. There is no end to energy. There's always more, and it is never gone. Constructs of time and space do not exist in these meditations. And if there is somebody that you need to speak to that is no longer with us on this planet, you don't have to worry about it. Because in this meditation, you can chat with them. They're there just as they always have been. They don't go away. Energy cannot be destroyed. It's a law of science. It's a law of physics. It just is. Why not use that to our advantage? Why not tap into that? So I hope that this was good for you. I hope that this was informative for you. I freaking loved it. Please let me know if you have comments, questions. Feel free to email me, post in the Facebook group. Again, it's facebook.com/groups/TRCLB. the red circle lady business. You'll see a picture of me with my crazy red hair. You'll know it's me. I hope that you'll join me for the pre-sale of Your Business, Your Flow. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to teach a sample class out of Your Business, Your Flow so that you can see if you like it or not. But I do hope that you'll join me for this pre-sale, because you get November and December for free if you join. And just heads up, because you get 2 months of free extra, you also get those 2 extra months for the payment plan. So this is the one and only time that I have done this, and maybe the one and only time that I do this, but you actually have 6 months. So the payments for YBYF will be just a hair over $100. Your bar bill, your cable bill, your coffee bill. It's really, it makes it so accessible. And then we'll start YBYF in January. So we'll have 2017 ready to go. And then we will learn in that first 90 days how to do everything that we have in our first 90 days. And we're going to knock it out as a team. And then you'll have the rest of the year to work it out. And you'll always have us just come back and support you. I can't think of a better way to start 2017, and I'm stoked to do it with you, because I also am going to be doing this with you. I'm going to set up my 2017 to be even more incredible than this year was for me. And I have some serious bragging rights under my belt now. So I can't wait to do this, and I can't wait to do it with you, because I am looking forward to your support as my sisters, just as much as I'm looking forward to being your warrior for yours, right? I'm so there for you. So I love you very much from the bottom of my womb, deeper than my heart, from the bottom of my womb. And I will see you in the Facebook group, and I will see you in the Transcendence group in just a few weeks. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. I cannot wait to see you. Good night, guys.